Hello, how are you doing today? Allow me to discuss your rights and entitlements when purchasing goods. When you buy something from a shop, you are making a contract. This contract means that it's up to the shop. Salesman says is leather. Should not be plastic. The goods should be fit for their purpose. This means the purpose for which most people buy those. If things go wrong, if goods are faulty when you first inspect or use them, go back to the shop. Say that you cancel the purchase and ask for a complete refund. If you prefer, you can accept a repair or a replacement. If the goods break down through no fault of yours after you have used them for a time, you may still be entitled to some compensation. In some cases, it would be reasonable to expect a complete refund. If, for instance, without misuse, your shoes came apart after only 1 day's wear, or your washing machine irreparably broke down after only 3 wash days. But if your washing machine worked perfectly for a while and then broke, you could only expect some of the purchase price back. You and the supplier must negotiate a reasonable settlement. You need never accept a credit note for faulty goods. If you do so, then later find you do not want anything else in the shop or store, you may not get your money back. If you have to spend money as a direct result of goods being faulty, you can also claim this from the shop. You could, for example, claim the cost of using a laundry while the washing machine wasn't working. But you must keep such expenses down to a minimum. There are 4 golden rules. 1. Examine the goods you buy at once. If they are faulty, tell the seller quickly. 2. Keep any receipts you are given if you have to return something. The receipt will help to prove where and when you bought it. 3. Don't be afraid to complain. You are not asking a favor to have faulty goods put right. The law is on your side. 4. Be persistent but not aggressive. If your complaint is justified, it is somebody's responsibility to put things right. Remember, you can't complain about defects that were pointed out to you, or that you could reasonably have been expected to notice. Stop using the item as soon as you discover a fault. You are not entitled to compensation if you simply change your mind about wanting the goods.
Good morning. I'd like to speak to the manager.
I am the manager, sir. How can I help you?
Well, it's this radio. It doesn't work.
Did you buy it here?
What? Of course I bought it here. Look, you turn it on and nothing happens.
May I see your receipt?
Receipt? I don't have one.
You must have gotten a receipt when you bought it.
I probably did. I must have thrown it away.
Uh-huh. Well, do you have any other proof of purchase? The guarantee, for example?
No, it must have been in the box. I threw that away too.
That's too bad. You really ought to have kept it. We need to know the exact date of purchase.
What? I only bought it yesterday. That young man over there waited on me. Oh, I paid by credit card. I have my copy here.
Oh, all right then. Did you test the radio before you left the store?
Tested? No, it was in the original box. I expected it to work. It wasn't some cheap radio. It's a good brand.
You should have tested it.
Come on, stop telling me what I should have done and do something. Either give me my money back or give me another radio.
There's no need to get impatient, sir. Let me look at it. You see this little switch in the back?
Yes.
It's on AC, and it should be on DC. You really should have read the instructions.
Oh.
Jonathan and Barbara Weiner have been married for nearly 15 years. They have 2 children, Gary, aged 11, and Debbie, 9. During the last couple of years, Jonathan and Barbara haven't been very happy. They argue all the time. Barbara's sister advised them to go to a marriage counselor. A marriage counselor helps married couples to talk about their problems and to solve them, if possible. Sometimes Jonathan and Barbara meet with the counselor separately, and other times they meet with her together. This is Jonathan and Barbara's 3rd session with Dr. Joyce Sisters, the counselor.
Oh, come in, Barbara. Have a seat. Oh, come in, Barbara. Have a seat. Didn't Jonathan come?
Yes, he's waiting outside. He didn't want to come this week, but, well, I persuaded him to come.
I see. How have things been going?
Oh, about the same. We still seem to have fights all the time.
What do you fight about?
What don't we fight about, you mean? We fight about everything. He's so inconsiderate.
How so?
Well, I'll give you an example. You know, when the children started school, I wanted to go back to teaching again, so I got a job. Well, anyway, by the time I've picked Gary and Debbie up at my sister's house, she picks them up at school, I only get home about half an hour before Jonathan.
Yes?
Well, when he gets home, he expects me to run around and get dinner on the table. He never does anything in the house. And last Friday, he invited 3 of his friends to come over for a drink. He didn't tell me to expect them. I don't think that's right, do you?
Barbara, I'm not here to pass judgment. I'm here to listen.
I'm sorry. And he's so messy. He's worse than the kids. I always have to remind him to pick up his clothes. He just throws them on the floor. After all, I'm not his mother, and I have my own career. Actually, I think that's part of the trouble. You see, I make more money than he does.
Listen to Jonathan's session with Dr. Sisters.
Jonathan, I'm so glad
Listen to Jonathan's session with Dr. Sisters.
Jonathan, I'm so glad you could come.
Hello, Dr. Sisters. Well, I'll be honest. Barbara had to force me to come, really.
Does it embarrass you to talk about your problems?
Yes, it does. But I guess we need to talk to somebody.
Barbara feels that you resent her job.
I don't know. I'd like her to stay home, but she's very smart. So really, I encouraged her to go back to work. With the kids in school, she needs something to do, and I suppose we need the money.
How do you share the housework?
I try to help. I always help her with the dishes, and I help Gary and Debbie to do their homework while she makes dinner, but she doesn't think that's enough. What do you think?
I'm not here to give an opinion, Jonathan.
I think we're both too tired, that's all. In the evenings, we're both too tired to talk. And Barbara, she never allows me to suggest anything about the house or about the kids. We always have the same arguments. She has her own opinions, and that's it. Last night, we had another fight. She's forbidden the kids to ride their bikes to school.
Why?
She thinks they're too young to ride in traffic. But then she always complains about picking them up at her sister's. I mean, they can't be tied to their mother's apron strings all their lives, can they?